Hi everyone, in today's Friday Sews, a quick review of the Ellie Mac oversized tee. I talked to you about what I'm going to be doing with this shirt for Sew Up Cycle 22, and I've got some new fabric to show you. But I'm going to start off by talking about my make of the Waves and Wild hot coffee top. So the question is, did it leave me feeling full of beans? Or was it just a bit of a grind? Welcome to this week's Friday Sews. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name's Laura and I'm the Carpe Diem Stitcher, so called because I've got so much to sew and so little time to do it in. So I'm sorry about the corny introduction for the hot coffee, but I really couldn't resist it. So yes, as I said, that's what I'm going to start off by talking about today. So the last time I spoke to you, I said that I was going to make the hot coffee dress by Waves and Wild, and I was going to do it for the Sew Purple for ALT 22, run by the real Michelle Sews Again over on Instagram, the challenge that she'd set, which was to support Alzheimer's charities and also in memory of her father. So I did do it and I did get a photo up in time, but boy did I struggle with it, and that wasn't really the pattern's fault. A lot of it was down to me and my overlocker being temperamental. So I will put some pictures up of me actually wearing it, but this is the actual garment that I made, and you will see that in the end it didn't end up as a dress, it ended up as a tunic. So what happened? Well, in terms of the sizing, and I'll put the sizing for all the sizes up down here because I know you prefer that to me reading them out. But in terms of the actual sizing for what I was going to make, and I'm just looking down because I've got it written down here, I thought, well, the medium was right for me on the bust because that was 34 to 36 inches, which is about what I am. I'm about a 35. And waist was 30 to 32, and I kind of hover around there. And then it said the hip was 39 to 41. Well, sometimes when I measure myself on my hip, or get my husband to do it more accurately, I can come out at about 42. So I thought, okay, I'll grade out somewhere around the waist and I'll make the large on the hip, which comes in at 41 to 43. And this is made for someone of 5'5", and I'm about 5'5½", so I thought the length would be fine. And indeed the length was fine. So cut the pattern out and it all came together really well. It does have a little facing that you can sew in around the back of the neck, which I didn't make on the cowl version that I made, because I decided you'd see the stitching on the outside. It might have been hidden actually because I've got the cowl, but I decided I didn't want that. I didn't want to be able to see the stitching. So I left that out, and the advice is that you can perfectly happily leave it out. So I did leave it out. One thing I did do that it doesn't suggest on the pattern, maybe because of the back facing, is I stabilised the shoulders and I just ironed in some interfacing tape to do that. So it all came together really quickly. I didn't, in the end, put ribbing on the cuffs. You might remember I said I was going to put some purple ribbing on, and in the end I didn't because I didn't think it would look particularly great. So I got it to the point where I'd sewn everything up apart from adding the cuffs and the hemband at the bottom, and I tried it on, and it was huge. It was fine on the bust, pretty good on the waist, but it was really big around my hips, and I think the bottom line is I didn't actually need to size down. So I thought, well, I could just cut it back with my overlocker, but I actually wasn't particularly keen on the shape as a dress. So in the end I thought, right, I'm not going to do that. So all I did was I put the pattern piece back over it and cut it off at about, probably about 5 inches or so below where the line was for the hem for the tunic, because I decided I didn't want to add on the ribbing, and I was going to employ a cunning plan that I'd seen on a video from Helen at XX Stitch Rip Repeat. XX, I'll put her channel down below. That's her Instagram handle. I think her channel's probably just Stitch Rip Repeat. So I chopped it off, didn't waste the fabric because I was going to use that to make the cuffs. And then what I did on the hem was what I'd seen her say she'd done on a top she was wearing in one of her recent Friday sews. So I'll try and find the video and link it down below. But what she basically did was she created the appearance of a band by simply folding the hem up and then overlocking all the way around. So if you see, I just overlocked it, and that creates the appearance of this band, which I really like. I think it just makes it look really nice and well finished off. And I just actually decided in the end I preferred the look of that than to go with the purple ribbing. So I've got other fabric that's purple, so I can use that another time. And then, because I was rushing and I was trying to get it done because it needed to be done on the 30th of September, and this was the 30th of September, I tried to put the cuffs on, and my overlocker had a hissy fit and decided it was not going to cut anything, and the whole thing ground to a halt. So I did get cuffs on, and it looked complete enough to take a photo to put up on Instagram for the challenge, and I'll put a picture up here of the picture I got my husband to take on the night. And you can see I'm sitting down and you can't see my arms, and that's because the cuffs were completely different lengths and they looked absolutely terrible. And also the arms were way too long, and I'm pretty sure I'd already taken some out of the arms. In fact, yes, I had taken out, that's the wrong one. I'd taken out, I think, about 1.5 inches out of the arms already, but I needed to take more out. So what I did this time was I just basically decided how long I wanted the arms and hacked off the arms and the cuffs that weren't working. So I measured down from the shoulder, did it that way, and it all worked fine. And then I cut cuffs that were, I think, something like 85% of the length and added those in. But I did this last weekend, so that was sorted out after the challenge. But job done, got entered into the challenge, supported the challenge, supported Michelle, but it absolutely was not wearable out the house because it just looked shocking. I've since replaced the upper blade on the overlocker and it's now behaving perfectly, wouldn't you know. But anyway, so that's all good. So that's all finished off, and I actually really like it as a top. I think it's going to get a lot of wear. I love the fabric. I have a feeling it's got some polyester in there, which I wouldn't necessarily go for all the time. But I love it. It's really nice and warm and cosy, and it's also smart enough that I can wear this to work. And I can see that getting a lot of wear over the winter. And I've got this fabric in 2 other colours. I've got it in a sage green, and also I've got it in a kind of pumpkin colour. So I'm going to try and get that sewn up at some point. But I'm actually really happy that I've got more of the fabric, because now I kind of feel like I want to make all the things in all of the colours. So that was the hot coffee. So the answer was, I'm now full of beans, but it was a bit of a grind as I was doing it, but absolutely not the pattern's fault. It is oversized. There's lots of varieties of it. It's actually, in a sense, not dissimilar to the Ellie Mac oversized tee, which is what I'm wearing now. And again, you've got lots of varieties of it. So let's talk about this then. So this, I decided to make, having seen Beck from What Beck Sews make the top in a black with kind of big yellow sunflowers on, and I thought, I've got a fabric I could use for that. And I think I said when I showed you the fabric that actually if you stretch it, it goes a bit white. So I needed to make something that's got plenty of room in it, and this really has. And I'm really pleased with the way it turns out. Didn't quite get it done in time to go on holiday because I wanted to hem it and I didn't have a chance to do that. So I've now hemmed it. I hemmed it. It's just got a basic hem. I don't know if you can see, if I tilt the camera down. It's got a, can you see? Sorry, I'm just picking you up. It's just got, come on, focus, focus, focus. I just hemmed it on my cover stitch machine and it all behaved perfectly. So, yeah, I was really happy with that. And I'm really pleased with the way it's turned out. And I've managed not to get flowers in any kind of embarrassing place. And you can see it's just a straight oversized boxy tee. It's got cuffs on. I think again I did shorten the sleeve on this, did I? Yes, I did. I shortened the sleeve on it. I think I thought it was going to be too long. Whoops, sorry. You can't see me. There we go. Sorry. So in terms of the sizing on this, and again I'll put all the sizes down below. This is a curvy fit pattern, and again it's designed for someone of 5'5", and I made a straight medium because that was bust 35.5 to 36.5, waist 27 to 28 inches, and hips 38.5 inches to 39.25 inches. But I could see from the pictures that actually it was really oversized and really roomy, and I didn't want it to be so oversized that I felt like I was swimming in it, which is what happened really with the hot coffee. So I made a straight size medium, and it's absolutely fine. And would I make more? Yes, and it was a really quick sew and all went together really well, and I'm really pleased with it. I did enjoy making it, and yes, I would make it again. So they're my two recent makes. What have I been doing since? Well, I think last time I mentioned to you that I've had COVID and it took me ages to test negative. And I've been left with this really annoying cough, which is why I haven't filmed before now, because I couldn't probably, I'd have just been coughing too much. And this is not gin, this is non-alcoholic gin and tonic, but cheers anyway, it's Friday night. So hopefully I'm not going to start coughing on you. So I am still sewing my Tilda dress, so that is getting done, but I broke off in order to do the Sew Purple for Alts challenge. And also the next thing that I'm intending to do, which I'll talk to you about quickly, is the Instagram challenge that is being run by Karen from So Little Time and Becky Notes from the Sewing Room. So I'll link their channels down below. And they've got a whole lot of vloggers who are doing the talking about this challenge, which is the Sew Upcycle 22 challenge. So I'll put a link to their channels down below. But in essence, the rule is that you have to take fabric that's already been used in some kind of a way. So it could be a tablecloth, it could be bedding, it could be an existing ready-to-wear piece. It could be something you've made before that actually you now don't like, or it doesn't fit you and you want to change it. But it can't be just straight fabric from your stash. It has to be fabric that's being repurposed. And you make a garment for a human being. Doesn't have to be you, can't be your pet, and it can't be an accessory. And you post your picture of your finished item and also the fabric that you started out with, so the tablecloth or bedding, or in my case a shirt that you started out with, on Instagram, so that they can see that you've actually done what the challenge is about and you've taken a pre-existing item and changed it. And you do that on the 31st of October, and you tag in Becky and Karen, and also put the Sew Upcycle 22 hashtag. I'll pop all the details down below. I'm not one of the authorised bloggers, I'm just telling you what I'm going to be doing. And you do that on the 31st of October. If you want to post pictures of anything you're doing as you go along, you do Sew Upcycle 22 WIP WIP. So I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do for the challenge. Hi, welcome back. So you'll have noticed I've got changed. So I've had a brief interlude in filming. It's still Friday evening, but my husband is on a Zoom call now, so we had to go off and eat. And so I've come back on. I've got another non-alcoholic gin and tonic, and I was really cold because that Ellie Mac top is lovely, but it's not made in the warmest of fabrics. So I've put my hot coffee top on so you can see what the neckline looks like. And I've also taken some pictures of both so that I can put them on when I'm editing. So I'll come back and talk about the Cycle 22 challenge and my shirt in a minute. But before I do, I just wanted to say that, as you probably know by now, Friday Sews is the brainchild of Jen from Today and Jen's Sewing Room, and I'll link her channel down below. So it's really lovely that we all have a chance to catch up and talk about what we've been doing in our sewing lives, even when we haven't necessarily had a chance to do all that much sewing in the week. And the other thing I wanted to say is that if you enjoy my content and you'd like to see more of me, please don't forget to like the video and also to hit that subscribe button and the notification bell, which will be down below. And then that way you'll get notified if my videos come up. So when I see my stats on the video, I can see that there are people who watch who aren't subscribed. So if you are enjoying the content, then please do subscribe. And then, as I say, you won't miss other things I put up and they'll just appear automatically in your feed. Okay, so let's go back to this. So this is a man's shirt and it has a 17.5-inch collar and it's a regular fit shirt, and it says, actually it came originally from Marks and Spencer and it is pure cotton. And I bought this from a charity shop in Stratford upon Avon, Shakespeare's birthplace, so I guess there's probably more traditional souvenirs to come back with from Stratford than a man's shirt from a charity shop. And I got it for the princely sum of £5, and it's been reduced, so being mindful that somebody might have wanted this originally, I think, you know, hopefully I didn't take it from somebody who really needed it and it had been sitting there a while. And I got this from the Mind charity shop. So this was back in July, in that time when I was away because of my sick relative. So yeah, I've got this shirt. So the question is, what am I going to do with it? Well, I'm going to change it into a top for me. And the way that I'm going to do this is to use a pattern which I actually first saw advertised on, well, advertised, wrong word really. It was featured on one of the Fold Line updates, you know, when Kate from the Fold Line goes through and she talks through new patterns. And I saw this one and I really liked it and I thought, I've got to buy that because it just seemed like such a good idea. And it's called the Shirt to Stockbridge top, and it's by a company called Greyfriars and Grace, and it's, in fact I think it might be just one person called Fiona Alexander, sorry. And I'll pop a picture in here of what it looks like, but essentially the idea is that you use existing features of the shirt to create a blouse. So if I just show you this picture, and please just ignore those hieroglyphics, my printer occasionally does weird things and then I put the paper through again and it printed successfully. But my plan is to try and make probably that version, but without, I might not put the ruffles on the sleeves, but I'm going to put them around the neck. So you can do all sorts with it. You're obviously limited because the fabric, you know, you've only got so much fabric in the shirt. So if you put ruffles down the front of the shirt, then you're limited to having a shorter length of the shirt. My plan is not to put ruffles down the front. And you can also have, I don't know if you can see that, but what you can do is you can use the cuffs of the shirt and use them as kind of cap sleeves. But I prefer, for me, the long sleeve version. So I'm going to have a go at that. And the way it works is there is a pattern, which I printed off already. And it's only 16 pages of A4. So actually that's not too bad. I thought about sending it off. And then I thought, actually, 16 pages. and I tend to print on the back of things I've already got, scrap paper. So I thought I might as well just do it. So I printed it off, so I'm going to stick that together shortly. And what I thought I might try and do, because it's so different, it's not, you know, it's not just, I'm not going to say sober conventional pattern, but it's a different approach, and I thought it might be quite an interesting sew, I think. And I've read through the instructions once, but I think it's something where I'm going to need to read them again before I actually delve in and start cutting, because obviously if you cut the wrong bit off the shirt, you've had it, basically. But I thought I might try and film it as a sew along and then put it up at the end of the month when everybody does their reveal. I'll either put it up on the 31st, or I might wait and put it up the following weekend. But I'll have a go at that, and I'll see if I can film at least some of it for you so that you can see what I'm doing, and we'll find out together if it's an interesting process. But hopefully it will be, and I like the idea. I think it's quite a nice way of using the shirt. I like the shirt. It's taken me ages to find one actually that I've liked, that's been in good enough condition to actually use. So yeah, I'm going to have a go and we'll see what happens. So that's going to be my Sew Upcycle 22 make. I had got other options. I've shown you before. I think I've got some bedding that I could have used to make some dungarees, and I've also got I think it's meant to be a nightshirt, which is quite fun. It's got cats knitting on it, and it's got poppers. It comes down around the neck. It looks a little bit like a Henley tee. And I'm kind of thinking to myself, I've got the Henley tee pattern from Love Notion, so I'll pop a picture of that up there. And I'm half wondering whether this might be famous last words, if this principle works, because from what I can see from having read the pattern already, what you do is you don't unpick the shoulders, and so you leave that seam sewn, and then you cut round so you have a bodice that fits you rather than you know, the size that it originally worked for a man. I've no idea how the collar turns out to fit, but we'll give it a go and see what happens. But I'm kind of wondering whether I could sort of do the same if I did it on single layers for this t-shirt and turn it into a Henley, and then the neckline would be undisturbed and I'd still have the poppers. Because the main issue is really it's a good probably 2 sizes too big for me. But I really like it. I really like the pattern, and the only other thing I can think of doing is cutting it up and turning it into a camisole or something. I'm not sure there'd be enough for a t-shirt otherwise. So if this works, I might conduct a little experiment, but I'm not sure it will be this month, but we'll see. So yes, so that's my challenge for this month. And then the last things that I've got to talk to you about or tell you about is some new fabric, which, yes, okay, we know I'm not meant to be buying fabric, but I have got good reasons. And something really exciting that happened, gosh, it's a week ago now. It seems, some ways it seems ages ago, and in other ways it doesn't. So last week I went away on a bit of a business trip, and part of that business trip took me off to go and do some work not far from where Jess, who is So What If I Sew on Instagram and YouTube, comes from. So I arranged to meet her after I'd finished at work, and so we met at the fabric shop that's closest to her, which she talks about on her YouTube channel and on Instagram sometimes, A&M Fabrics. So we met there, and it was great. We've never met before. We've chatted a bit on Instagram, but we've never actually met before. We wandered around the fabric shop, and so I got a couple of bits and Jess got some material as well. And then we went off and had coffee, and well, I had coffee, and if you follow Jess on Instagram, you might have seen she put up a picture, and I've got a cup of coffee. We chatted so much we completely forgot to take any photos of us together, but you can see she took a photograph of the table, which was like a giant cotton bobbin, and I've got, there's my cup of coffee, and she had hot chocolate, and it was the most enormous cup of hot chocolate I've ever seen, and she did really well because she got a white cardigan on and she managed to drink it, and she didn't get any hot coffee all over her cardigan. She did really well because I wouldn't have done that. It would have been all over me in 30 seconds flat. But we had such a good time, and I think in the end we were probably chatting for a good 2.5, 3 hours. So it was lovely. So Jess, if you're watching, it was lovely to meet you. I had a really good evening, and then I drove home. So yeah, it was really lovely, and I was very good. I only bought 2 pieces of fabric, and one of them is, well, they're both I think really kind of quilting weight cottons, and this is the first one. And as you can see, it's quite a narrow fabric. I think it's, you know, what would it be, 45 inches, something like that. And it's got clocks on it, all these clocks, so it's quite sort of steampunky. And the reason I got this is because if you live in the UK, I don't know if it gets syndicated out to other countries, but there's a comedy show which has actually sadly just been axed, and it's called Mock the Week. So it's a kind of satirical take on news events of that week. And there's a comedian on there sometimes called Ed Byrne, and he has the most fantastic shirts, and they've got clocks on like this, and I've always thought I really, really like his shirts. So I saw this fabric and I just thought, well, I've got to have it and make a shirt. So also really kindly, I think I've got about 2.8 meters of this, because I asked for 2.5, I think, because it's so narrow, and I got what was left on the bolt, so I think it's 2.8 meters, and I wasn't charged for the extra, so that was really nice, and kind of A&M fabrics. So I'll pop a link to them down below. So that was the first fabric, and the second fabric was a bit of an impulse buy, and it's this. It's another cotton. Feels very slightly lighter actually than the other one. Maybe not. It's quite smooth. Feels much smoother. And this one's a Rose and Hubble, but it's this beautiful floral. And it does remind me in some ways of some Lady McElroys that I've kind of held up against me, kind of, what's the word, longingly at fabric shows and then not bought. And I was looking at it in the shop, and Jess said to me, you know, that's exactly your colours and it really suits you. I look a bit washed out tonight, but I've got the light right above me. But actually, I really like it, and she's right, it is my colours. It's got purples and pinks and things in. So I suspect this is going to become another shirt or a shirt dress at some point. I've still got loads of shirt patterns left to try. So probably not an immediate make, but I just couldn't kind of leave it behind, so I didn't. So they're my first 2 fabrics. So they were a really nice memento of the evening spent chatting with Jess and getting to meet her, so that was great. And then very last, I have, and I'll pop a picture up there, I've made a Uvita top by Itch to Stitch, which I did for, I think I did it for So Frugal. Yeah, I did it for So Frugal 22, run by Frugalissima in the Yorkshire Sew Girl earlier this year. So where you sew something from a free pattern and from your stash. And I used the Uvita top from Itch to Stitch, which is a free pattern. And I had some fabric that was sitting in my stash for ages. And it was bright pink fabric, and it's got cats in the shape of telephones on it. And it's kind of got a slight shirt tail hem to its t-shirt. And I think I did 3/4 sleeves. And when my mum was down here in August, she saw me wearing it and she really liked it, the shape and the style. And she said she would like one. So, and she wanted one that was in a kind of ditzy floral. on a blue background. She wasn't bothered about which colours it had in it, as long as it had a blue background. So I found this really nice cotton jersey, which is says Little Flowers, designed for you by Poppy Europe, and it's an organic cotton. And I found this on the lovely Jenny Stitcher's website. So I was really impressed. I ordered it quite early one morning, and it literally turned up the next day. So thank you, Jenny, for a really prompt and efficient service. And I just think this is really pretty, and my mum will really like it. And because it's not for me, it's allowed. So yes, so that will be getting made up. I don't know about this month, but certainly in time for Christmas. If I don't make it this month, I might do it for the Instagram challenge about sewing gifts for Christmas, being run by Alison Sew Dotty and Adam from Adam Sews. And it came with a lovely card from Jenny, which is a kind of drawing of her outside her shop, and a lovely note from Jenny on the back. So that was really nice. And that's it really. That's all I've got to talk to you about. So probably still going to be quite a long video. So I'm going to finish off now and try and edit and get this up for you hopefully today, and not so that it's Saturday sews, because it's supposed to be Friday sews. And then I'm also hoping, because I'm going to be away again for part of next week, I'm going back up to my relatives where I spent some of the time earlier this year, to sort one or two things out. And we've also got a kind of, you know, after you lose someone, you have a whole series of firsts, and there's a quite an important first coming up next week. So I'm going to go back up there for a little while, only a few days, but I'm not going to be around to film this time next week. I'll be away. So I'm hoping that I'm going to film something else for you this weekend, and I'm going to probably do something around my sewing goals that I set out in my very first video, and I'm going to revisit them and have a bit of a chat about what I've done, what I haven't done, and whether they're still my goals, whether my goals have changed or not. I've done quite a lot of thinking around what I really want to be doing, what I really want to be sewing over the past probably month, probably since I've been back from holiday. And it's interesting because I watched Ruan's latest video last night, and she's saying very similar things to what I've been thinking. So clearly I'm not the only one who's taking this time at the minute to reflect. But I'm going to film a video all about that. So if that interests you, as I say, please like and please subscribe and hit that notification bell, and then you'll be told when that video pops up. So thank you ever so much for watching. I've got a really bad feeling I've been looking away from the camera for the whole time and looking at the picture I get rather than the camera, but hopefully I'm now looking at the camera. And yes, it's been lovely talking to you. I think this is going to be a longer video than maybe I've intended, or yeah, than maybe I originally thought it would be. But also I've had a little bit more time because I was talking quite quickly in the first part because I was trying to get done because I knew that my husband got the Zoom call, and then in the end I just split the video. So it's been fine, and it's been lovely telling you everything that I've been up to. So let me know in the comments below if you are buying fabric when you didn't mean to, if you're having any plans in terms of participating in Sew Up Cycle 22, and what you've been up to. I love hearing from you, and those of you who've commented before will know that I always do reply. So yeah, lovely to catch up with you. Hope everyone is safe and well and has a lovely weekend and gets some sewing in if that's what they want to do. So I'll talk to you again soon. That's all for now. Thanks for watching. Bye.